The 2000s, a decade in which many of you that are watching this video may have been born. Death comes for us all. It was also a fantastic era for PC gaming. So today, we're going to publicly declare the 10 best PC games of the 2000s. And for the sake of my sanity, this is an unranked list, so these games are placed in no particular order. Honorable mentions go to Far Cry, Halo Combat Evolved, Battlefield 2, Civilization 4, The Sims 2, Counter-Strike, and a personal shout out to a favorite of mine, The Operative, No One Lives Forever. A game that would be perfect for a remake, except that no one knows who has the rights to it. World of Warcraft was Blizzard's foray into the world of MMOs, and it wound up being so successful that it's not only still going today, but there was enough people playing to justify releasing another version in 2019 that plays like the classic vanilla version. Hundreds of MMOs have been left dead and forgotten, but somehow, WoW is still going strong. And before they set the standard for addictive MMOs, Blizzard also created Diablo II, the game that set the standard for addictive isometric loot-filled RPGs. Every other game in the genre is often compared to Diablo 2. Hell, even other Diablo games are still compared to Diablo 2. Do you remember when Blizzard used to be good? Half-Life 2 was one of the first games that proved that Valve can't count to 3. One of the best single-player first-person shooters featuring an innovative physics engine, the incredibly fun gravity gun, tons of memorable characters, and a story so good that we're still waiting for an ending to it 20 years later. And speaking of games that we wouldn't mind Valve making a third sequel to, Portal is one of the best first-person puzzle games ever designed. The act of using portals to travel around the various test chambers is still mind-bending to this very day. It's a game so popular that it spawned a meme about cakes that people in their 30s and early 40s still make references to, much to the chagrin of their children. Baldur's Gate 3 may be a huge success now, but it's important to remember that Baldur's Gate 2 was the original critically acclaimed CRPG that allowed you to commit all kinds of horrible and/or sexy acts in the Dungeons & Dragons world. Without this game, you don't get Karlach, so you better be thankful. It's been well over 20 years since Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic released, and they're still trying to make a Star Wars game that could compare to it in any way, featuring great turn-based gameplay and phenomenal writing from BioWare that truly makes you feel like a Jedi. It's not just the best Star Wars game, it's also one of the best RPGs, period. Of course, sometimes instead of traveling throughout an entire galaxy, you'd rather go dungeon crawling. And that's why we have to mention The Elder Scrolls III: Morrowind. Games like Oblivion and Skyrim may be better remembered these days, but without Morrowind, there's a good chance that Bethesda never would have become one of the biggest names in the open-world RPG genre. As someone who's played every GTA game in existence, it's hard to choose between Grand Theft Auto 3, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, and Grand Theft Auto San Andreas to include on this list. They're all fantastic, so you could really go with any of them, but me personally, I'm gonna go with Vice City, as it still has the most memorable location, and driving around and shooting people to Hall & Oates' Out of Touch is a feeling that can't be beat. Many of Remedy's later games would go on to refine their blend of violent action and intricate storytelling, but Max Payne was the first game to truly show what they could do in terms of slow-mo violence. By combining a film noir tale about a grizzled pill-popping down-on-his-luck cop, along with Matrix-esque bullet-time third-person gunslinging, Max Payne is still considered by many to be the peak of action games. And finally, there are few games that gave you as much player choice as the original Deus Ex. It was cyberpunk before, that cyberpunk, and was, and still is, one of the best immersive sims ever created. Featuring a great level design and a story chock full of interesting characters and intriguing conspiracies, Deus Ex is one of the few PC games from the 2000s that can stand up to any game released today, as long as you can get past the ugly graphics, that is. Which PC game for the 2000s is your favorite? Let us know in the comments below. And for all your gaming needs, be sure to check out thegamer.com. I'm Jamie Latour, and we'll see you next time.